appears ordinary till you see the core side of it.
And what you're looking for is the story behind the news.
We bring it to you from Lagos, the commercial capital of Nigeria.
Giving you all sides and political stories round the clock.
Every detail from the start line to the final whistle.
CoreTV News, expanding your view.
Hello there and welcome to CoreTV News on the Hour with me, Sabena Izuku. National leader of the All Progressive Congress, Bola Tinubu, has finally responded to the allegations made against him by the former chieftain of the party, Tommy Kimi. The one-time head of the merger committee of the Legacy Party had, while quitting APC, claimed that Tinubu sealed the deal with the Petroleum Minister, Desi Alison Madueke, on the eve of the party's national convention. He also accused the party national leader of installing a stooge as national chairman. But in a one-page statement made available to newsmen, the former Lagos State governor described the claims as an absurd falsehood and insisted that he was not a party to the Owando-ConocoPhillips transactions. Tinubu argued that it was a private sale of assets, not a government patronage between two companies which he had no interest in. He also noted that Owando had been investigated by the South African authorities and no link was made to him or any politically exposed person on allegations or selling out Nuhu Ribadu, the former presidential candidate of the defunct Action Congress of Nigeria. The APC leader wondering how he could have told hundreds of thousands of people not to vote for the party without being public knowledge. He, however, dropped a hint on why Ikimi was not backed for the party chairmanship when he noted that he was never seriously committed to the APC. Tinubu accused Ikimi of playing out a PDP script all along. At least 59 members of the dreaded Boko Haram sect were killed on Monday as the Nigerian military repelled an attack by the sect to expand its caliphate to include the Bama town in Borno State. It will be recalled that the sect that had last week declared the caliphate in Gwaza, a town 135 kilometers from Maiduguri, and may be aiming to get further mileage towards Maiduguri. Bama is one of the largest towns in Borno State, and the capture of the city would have further given vent to the determination of the sect to take over Maiduguri, the state capital. CoreTV News learned that more than 30 insurgents were also left injured with various bullet wounds as the majority of the terrorists were compelled to retreat through the bush. Some residents of Bama who spoke to journalists in Maiduguri after fleeing the town say they woke up early Monday morning to heavy bombardment as gunshots rent the air. A traditional title holder in Bama also told journalists in Maiduguri that the people of Bama are excited with the new efforts of the military in the area and relocation of the 21 Armored Brigade Battalion to Bama, insisting that if not for efforts of the soldiers, Bama would have been consumed and may have caved in into the Boko Haram caliphate. The Nigerian Army has reviewed the curfew in Maiduguri, the capital of troubled state, Borno. In a press statement by the Deputy Director, Army Public Relations, Sani Usman, the curfew hours on the town is about 7 p.m. to 6 a.m. The curfew formerly on the town was from 9 p.m. to 6 a.m. daily on, and the traditional 2 hours was handed down to deteriorating security situation in the state, especially as a result of the increase in the number of attacks on some towns. Usman in the statement says no one was exempted from the curfew. Nigeria has indicated interest to participate in the clinical trials of 2 vaccines in treating victims of the Ebola virus in the country. It also considering adding a third to the list on the recommendation of a team of researchers who had been looking into experimental drugs for Ebola treatment. This was part of the update delivered by the National Council on Health meeting in Abuja. The report.
It's the second emergency meeting of the council since the outbreak of Ebola in Nigeria. Like the first meeting in mid-August, it was presided over by Health Minister Onyebuchi Chukwu. But since the previous meeting, Nigeria has had more cases and consequently more people are under surveillance after the virus spread to Port Harcourt. So far, Only 6 deaths has been recorded, 5 including the recent casualty in Port Harcourt. Also, 199 people who may have made contact with him are currently under surveillance. In view of this, the health minister says Nigeria is not shying away from using experimental EVD vaccines.
The treatment research group, which I had at the last meeting informed you about, and which will be making a presentation letter to us in the afternoon, has been working hard to identify experimental drugs and also make recommendations to government on further research on these drugs, as well as vaccines for EVD treatment and prevention. Following the TRG's recommendation, and in consultation with NAFDAC and the National Health Research Ethics Committee, Nigeria has indicated interest to participate in the clinical trials for 2 candidate EVD vaccines and are considering a third that may be added to the list. We have also applied for experimental drugs such as the TKM Ebola.
The government is also moving ahead to equip isolation wards at state levels as part of steps for a holistic approach to contain the disease.
Our technical teams have also concluded analysis of options for equipping our isolation wards as identified at our last meeting. At this present meeting, we shall receive updates on the status of the isolation wards in the states, after which the Federal Ministry of Health will conclude these arrangements and issue the contracts for the refurbishment and equipping of sites identified to serve as isolation wards.
The federal government had nice words for the Lagos and Enugu states and expressed hope that now that Rivers State has 3 confirmed Ebola cases, it will get similar collaboration from the state.
Minister on Gathering, the federal government has denied placing a ban on rallies in the aftermath of the outbreak of Ebola in the country. Health Minister Onyebuchi Chukwu was speaking against the backdrop of claims that the government has been breaking its own directives by ignoring a series of pro-Jonathan rallies in some parts of the country. He cited the recent Osun-Osogbo festival, which was held in spite of Ebola virus, to justify why Nigerians should not allow the disease to affect normal day-to-day activities.
We have not banned mass. You can also see that the Osun-Osogbo festival was holding. We are not stopping mass. Life must go on. When you have a government who is on top of the situation, you should go about your life. But you must do so, particularly now, with caution. So we work with them. So even for that rally, we worked with them to screen people. We did, if you were in Port Harcourt. So we are working with everybody, and then we told them provide hand sanitizers freely to all the participants. So we're not trying to create panic. But where you think you can do without, we are just advising Nigerians, where you think you can do without it, you can postpone it, just like the Ministry of Culture and Tourism and Culture and Natural Heritage postponed the National Festival of Arts and Culture. So you have an option. You can decide to postpone, just like we've also postponed the date of resumption of primary and secondary schools.
The World Health Organization has voiced concern about the unprecedented number of healthcare workers hit by the Ebola outbreak in West Africa. More than 120 health workers have died and over 240 others infected so far. The disease has killed a total of 1,552 people and infected 3,062 as of August 26, according to the World Health Organization figure. In Guinea, where 430 people have died, nurses say they lacked basic medical equipment to treat patients and had even brought items such as gloves and protective clothing themselves. Health workers also protest in Liberia, which has been hardest hit by the outbreak with 694 deaths. The government has also denied permission for any crew to disembark from ships docking at any other countries.
I'm saying that before we can return to work, we need our month of August salary, we need our proper equipment to use to work with, and we need insurance benefit, we need extra per diem to motivate us, because our life at risk. We are at the front page. Coming here today is not anything because we choose the profession, as I said. But equally so, if anything happens to us tomorrow, let us be at the stage that our family tomorrow will not cry alone.
Medical screening of passengers was also causing long delays at Monrovia's International Airport. But a 21-day quarantine thrown around the city, West Point neighborhood, was lifted on Saturday. Air travels to West Africa has been badly hit by the disease. 8 of the 11 international airlines serving Monrovia have suspended flights, including British Airways and Air France. The World Health Organization and the West African Regional Bloc ECOWAS have both called for travel bans to be lifted, saying the medical screening should identify at-risk passengers instead. The Lagos State government has given its full backing to new resumption date recently announced for primary and secondary schools nationwide by the federal government as part of efforts to contain the spread of the Ebola disease. The state government made this known when it received the protective items from a telecommunication firm. Lagos State Governor Babatunde Fashola, while receiving the donations, assures that the government is doing everything at its disposal to stop the Ebola virus from reaching epidemic level. Abiola Oluwole has the report.
Governments at all levels have been joining forces to contain the spread of the deadly Ebola virus since it was imported into the country by a Liberian-American, Patrick Sawyer, in July. The recent reported cases in Rivers State have also continued to put government on their toes. Addressing the media during a donation of a personal protective items from telecommunication company, Lagos State Governor Babatunde Fashola says the October 13th resumption date for primary and secondary school by federal government are further action to check any epidemic that could arise from the spread of the Ebola virus.
Our official resumption date was 15th of September. We will abide this new date and hope that a more rigorous discussion and evaluation of the risks will be in place. Let us also not forget how this disease works, that it's not airborne. You need to be sick to be able to transmit it, and so on and so forth. So ultimately going forward, the realities are that from what I know, if you are sick sufficiently to be in a transmitting mode, you will not be able to go to school. So, but again, every sense of precaution at this moment must be taken in terms of sanitation, hygiene, and all of that, and reducing human contact as much as it is possible until we can say that the coast is clear.
He added that human capacity development that ensures sufficient numbers of virologists in Nigeria would go a long way in combating the spread of Ebola.
We are here to lend our support. First of all, to express our appreciation and to lend our support. We had already started supporting your cause by providing call centers where the Ebola hotline, where your doctors are there responding to any inquiries that might ensue.
The donor of the item says the action is in support of government efforts aimed at halting the spread of Ebola virus in Nigeria.
Over 100 days since the kidnap of the Chibok girls from government secondary school Chibok in Borno State by the Boko Haram, the President Women Arise Initiative, Joe Dumaki, says it is a shame that the government has not done enough to rescue the girls. She called on Nigerian mothers to be hopeful and continue to cry out until the girls are rescued.
I just want us to realize that the rescue is a collective responsibility of all of us. We must do all we can. No, we can never forget those girls. They are today, they are tomorrow. They are our heroine. We can never, ever forget them. And that is why spending one day with the terrorists is like spending 1,000 years. Governments, people, all of us must do all we can to rescue those girls. The terrorists are mothers sleep. I've not slept since the day those girls have been taken. And until they are rescued, I can never sleep. So girls, wherever you are, it's about 135 days now. We are with you in solidarity. No, never. We can never lose you to terrorists. And terrorists, wherever you are, they should realize that women brought them to this world. And with that girls that they have taken, they wouldn't have been brought forth to this world. Please, they must release those girls. And as we all join forces together, that rescue is important, it's paramount. The girls must be rescued now.
Let's take a short break, and when we return, CoreTV News on the Hour continues. Stay with us.
You can now watch CoreTV News live from anywhere in the world on our website, www.coretvnews.com. Click on Live TV on our website and watch us live.
And welcome to CoreTV Primetime Days.
To follow us on Twitter, click on Twitter icon on our website. On Facebook, click on the Facebook and YouTube to see all our previous news production. You can also watch us live on YouTube. Click CoreTV, leave a space, then News. CoreTV News, a 24-hour news station.
Welcome back. Former Deputy Governor of Enugu State, Sunday Onyebuchi, has been redeployed to the Enugu State Civil Service. CoreTV News learned that the development followed Onyebuchi's impeachment and subsequent appointment of a new Deputy Governor. Onyebuchi was a staff of the Enugu State Civil Service before his appointment to political office. The former Deputy Governor current rank in the service was also not disclosed. The Chief Press Secretary to the Governor, Sullivan Chime Chukwudi Achife, confirmed Onyebuchi's redeployment. Enugu State Governor Sullivan Chime on Monday swears in Raphael Ifeanyichukwu Iwonye as his new deputy, saying his administration has replaced a faulty part. The new deputy is taken over from Sunday Onyebuchi, recently impeached on allegations of gross misconduct by Enugu State House of Assembly. In a brief remark after Iwonye had been administered with the oath of office by Chief Judge of the State, Innocent Umezurike, at the government house, Chime likened his administration to a vehicle which had just been repaired. He also noted that Onyebuchi's impeachment was for the good of the state. He expressed confidence in the new deputy governor ability to discharge his responsibilities effectively in line with the demands of the office, noting that both of them served as commissioners in the administration of former governor of the state, Chimaroke Inamani. The Independent National Electoral Commission says Nigerians will experience a better electioneering year in 2015. The Commission said this in Abuja at the town hall meeting on continuous voter registration and permanent voters card distribution. Bayosambo has more.
These youths have come from all parts of the country to meet with INEC representatives here. They have so many questions to ask INEC representatives. Some say they were not aware of the distribution of the permanent voters card, while others felt enough personnel were not deployed by the commission to handle the exercise. One after the other, they raised their concerns.
When the first voter registration started, it was something else. We go there, at times we sit there, we go there with fans, just to register, just to get the temporary voters card. We go there, it was something else altogether. Some persons say it's no longer interesting. After all, anybody like that, there's no work, nothing.
When I went down there, what I saw, well, I was not impressed.
INEC representative Emmanuel Akim is also concerned about the challenges faced by the commission during the exercise, but also gave an insight on the ways INEC carried out the distribution of the voters' card.
Any of the citizens that wants to collect their cards has to make another effort. I know it's difficult for ordinary citizens that are impoverished. The excuse is that I don't have transport fare to go to the local government office, but I think for a citizen that strongly desires to exercise their franchise can make that sacrifice.
In spite of a 3-day extension of the exercise, there are still calls from some quarters that the exercise should be extended. But the INEC representative gave a different reason why the exercise could not be extended.
The statement by INEC, which we released, that there will be no extension, had some reasons to it, that the logistics of the extension, we could not cope with the logistics of the extension because certain things need to be done at the planning table before we deploy. And that would be an extension more than required. So we were not ready because the logistics were not there.
With the successes achieved by INEC in Ekiti and Osun State, this youth says if Nigerians support INEC, the 2015 election will be better.
Well, we have confidence in the commission. We know the commission can organize credible elections in 2015. But there are certain gaps, certain loopholes that need to be covered. And it's our duty to continue to pressure the Commission, because this is about pressure. Citizens need to hold INEC responsible. And one way to do that by holding them accountable is to continue to engage them. We need to knock on INEC doors and ask them critical questions. What are you doing to better elections in Nigeria? And all of these questions actually need to be asked. But we are confident INEC can organize credible elections.
The 2015 election is only a few months away, and INEC has promised to work towards a free and fair polls. But for Nigerians, nothing short of a credible process will be acceptable. Pius Samuel, CoreTV News, Abuja.
Over 7,000 support groups have called on President Goodluck Jonathan to declare his intentions to contest for the presidential election in 2015. This was contained in a report submitted to the Presidential Advisor on Political Affairs, Rufai Akali. An 11-man special committee was set up to restructure Goodluck Jonathan's support group across the country, but after receiving the report, the presidential advisor says the next stage is content analysis.
One of the preliminary observations from the report of the team is that contrary to our earlier position that there are about 3,000 groups rooting for Mr. President, we now have more than 7,000 groups, support groups nationwide, all calling on President Goodluck Ebele Jonathan to declare for the presidential race. With the report of the Screening and Evaluation Committee now submitted to us, we are going to the next level. That is to say, we shall undertake content analysis of the report with a view to properly positioning the various support groups for the challenges of the 2015 general elections.
3 or 4 points in terms of reference. While doing this, I want to assure you we do not restrict ourselves to the confines of this office. We went around to all various stakeholders that had to do with what TSC should do or what the general support should be for Mr. President to sail through, knowing that this time around we have an opposition that is viral, vibrant, and very, very vehement. So we believe the parameters of the electionary campaign for this 2015 election will be very, very different from the past 2011 election. So on this note, I want to assure Mr. Special Advisor that my committee and I were able to put together a report that we know will help your office, help the general support groups, and indeed the party is coming up with a very dynamic campaign trail that will ensure a smooth and landslide victory for Mr. President come.
Former Vice President Atiku Abubakar says visionless leadership, not lack of resources, is responsible for Nigeria's relative underdevelopment. Speaking in Owerri as chairman as the Governor's Progressive Governance lecture series organized by the All Progressive Congress, he says Nigeria has the resources but needed leadership, vision and determination to make things work. In his speech, which was sent to journalists in Abuja on Monday, he disclosed that the outbreak of the Ebola virus disease in Nigeria has brought to the fore Nigeria's emergency management response strategies. The resolve to continue to celebrate and immortalize Gani Fawehinmi, who died on the 5th of September 2009, has prompted the Gani Fawehinmi Memorial Organization to hold a World Press Conference to kickstart this year's 3-day program in respect of his demise. Anita Fatunji has the report. Okay, we'll take a short. When we return, we'll take you outside Nigeria. Stay with us.
All new on Bodyworks.
Welcome to Bodyworks, the fitness, wellness, and lifestyle show.
It's often difficult to believe.
Infertility is a condition that can actually be cured.
When you say cured, I actually find that very difficult to believe. I'm sorry.
Being an autistic child doesn't necessarily reduce your lifespan.
Let's kind of start with gonorrhea.
They call it gono.
Gono.
There's something we call plaque and calculus. Plaque is a soft teleneous material that adheres to the surface of the teeth.
And it could be life-threatening.
Most children who have enuresis, as a bedwetting,
About 8 out of 10, I can tell you, will have the disease. It's called juvenile diabetes.
There are a lot of diet pills out there.
There's no weight loss pill in a bottle. Point blank.
Are you saying that it's okay to bleach?
It depends on how you do it.
And then,
When the fibroid does not disturb the woman, we don't disturb the fibroid.
Well, that's been our show.
showing every Saturday at 7:30 p.m. Bodyworks. Live right, be fit, and live well.
Welcome back. British Prime Minister David Cameron announced tougher measures Monday against Britain's planning to fight in Iraq and Syria and battle hardened jihadists who could return to launch attacks on home soil. Cameron says his government will draw up measures to ban suspects who are British nationals from returning to UK, while the police will get enhanced powers to temporarily strip deporting suspects of passport at the border. He announced the measures in Parliament after Britain raised his terror threat risk level to severe, meaning an attack is thought highly likely due to fears over the situation in Iraq and Syria.
Speaker, passports are not an automatic right. The Home Secretary already has the discretion to issue, revoke and refuse passports under the royal prerogative if there is reason to believe that people are planning to take part in terrorist-related activity. But when police suspect a traveller at the border, they're not currently able to apply for the royal prerogative and so only have limited stop and search powers. So we will introduce specific and targeted legislation to fill this gap by providing the police with a temporary power to seize a passport at the border, during which time they'll be able to investigate the individual concerned. But it is abhorrent that people who declare their allegiance elsewhere are able to return to the United Kingdom and pose a threat to our national security. We're clear in principle that what we need is a targeted discretionary power to allow us to exclude British nationals from the UK, and we'll work up proposals on this basis with our agencies in line with our international obligations. Adhering to British values is not an option or a choice. It is a duty for all those who live in these islands. So we will stand up for our values. We will, in the end, defeat this extremism, and we will secure our way of life for generations to come.
Please do join me at the top of the hour for more. I am Sabina Izuki, and thank you very much indeed for watching.